Hello wonderful people, it's Genevieve and my goal here on this channel is to teach you all about illustration and design. So if you're new, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the weekly videos and so that you can join our wonderful creative community. In this video, we're going to learn how to create really nice hanging lights and neon signs, and I even have a free brush for you to use, but I will tell you about that later in the video. For now, we need to start with a nice dark background. So you can go in your gallery and either open a canvas that you already have or create a new one. Here I'm just going to go with the screen size because this is just a demo. And then we're going to import a picture so that we have a nice background behind our lights. And here you can obviously use any picture of your choice, but I will include in the description below a couple websites with copyright-free pictures that you can use as your background. I personally will use this wooden background I found on Unsplash, so I'm just going to tap download free here. And it's going to save this file in my iPad. So once you have your file on your iPad, if you download it from the internet like I just did, you're going to go in your wrench icon menu at the top and select insert a file, not a photo, a file, and then you're going to locate your file in your download. I'm already in my download folder, but if you're not, you can just go back until you have this little menu opening up and then selecting download, you should be able to see your file. Mine is right here. So once you have your picture in, just resize it as you want. And then we're going to change it a little bit because right now it's super bright and we want a dark background for our neon and lights. So we're going to create a new layer above the texture. And we're going to fill in this layer with one dark color. The color is really totally up to you. It depends on the vibe you want in your piece. I'm going to go with a nice dark purple, kind of like that. And just filling in the layer. You're then going to set the blending mode of this layer to linear burn or multiply and lower the opacity until you get the desired effect. I think I'm going to go with linear burn like this. So the first effect we're going to look at here is hanging lights. And you can create this effect with any brush of your choice, but there is a brush from my new 3D bundle that just works so well for that, and I decided to include it as a free sample for you so you can download it. It will be linked in the description below. Otherwise, if you have a 3D bundle, that's great. Essentially, we're going to use in the 3D material panel or pack the metal dots one. But again, this technique works with any brush. It's just that this one I think is really cool, so I wanted to share with you if you want. And if you want to check out the bundle as well, by the way, it will also be linked in the description below. Now this brush and the other brushes in the set as well are a bit special in the sense that you need to set two colors to use them, or at least you can set two colors to use them. So going in the color menu here at the top, we're going to set the color on the left to white. And then we're going to set the color on the right to the color we want the light to be. So in my case, I want them to look like they're really nice light bulbs. So I'm just going to go with a nice bright yellow. Now, if you're using a regular brush that only has one color, so most brushes, go ahead and only pick the bright color, so don't pick white. And then no matter which brush you're using, go ahead and create a new layer, rename it to lights, and then paint your lights. So to make this look actually like lights, we're going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. So just swiping it towards the left with one finger and then tapping duplicate. And with the top layer selected, we're going to go in the adjustment panel here at the top, and we're going to select bloom. We're then going to swipe with one finger towards the right all the way so that the bloom is at 100%, which as you can see is going to start adding a little bit of a light effect to your lights. So that's great. Now you can play with those settings as much as you want until you find something that works well, but for regular lights like fairy lights or globe lights or hanging lights, stuff like that, I recommend leaving transition at maximum, maybe increasing the size a little bit. That's going to depend on the brush you use, the canvas and stuff like that, so just play with it. And maybe moving the burn to bring it more around 45%. You're really going to have to test, but it should already be pretty good as it is. Once that is done, you can exit this menu. And going back in the layer panel, you're going to change the blending mode of this top light layer to add. Now the last little thing we have to do for those lights to really make them look good is add some sort of a chord so they're not just floating. Well, you can have them float if you want, but to add a chord, just create a new layer below the lights. Rename this layer to chord and pick black. Now you can really paint this chord with whichever brush you want. I recommend going in the calligraphy pack that comes with Procreate and picking the, well, mine is in French for some reason, Ligne Simple brush, but it's probably going to be monoline for you. Essentially just something that doesn't have any texture to it. and then simply draw the chord wherever you want it to be. The neon effect is pretty similar, but there are a few little things that you could adjust to make it look even more like neon and less like just bright lights. So we're going to go ahead and create a new layer and rename it to neon. Now for the neon, it is a good idea to use the monoline brush or the lynx type brush from Procreate, making it as big as you want. And here you're going to pick whichever color you want your neons to be. Make sure that it's really quite bright and saturated though. So I'm going to go with this very, very intense pink. And then you can draw whatever you want, or you could also apply this to text, obviously. Once you have your shape, go ahead and duplicate it. And with the top layer selected, we're going to go back in the adjustment panel, picking the bloom option once more, and increasing the bloom to 100%, just like we did before. Now the difference with neon is that you're going to increase your burn to 100%. And you might want to lower the transition a little bit as well, so that it's super, super intense. And then finally adjusting the size as needed. Just like for the regular lights, we're also going to apply this layer as the blending mode add, so that's super, super bright. And to really make it look like it's super, super light, we're going to change the color of the bottom layer to something brighter. So just select your bottom layer, then back in the adjustment panel, you're going to pick hue, saturation, and brightness. And you're going to up the brightness. You could up it to 100% to make it white. I think it's a little bit too much. Something between 80 and 90 is probably the best. So that's pretty good, but I have a couple more tips for you to bring this to the next level. One of them is to add some sort of 3D effect in any bend that you might have in your shape. So for that, you're going to select the bottom layer, so the one with just the shape and not the bloom effect. And you're going to create a mask. So just tapping on the layer and then selecting mask. And with the mask selected, you're going to set your eraser to, in the airbrushing panel that comes with Procreate, the soft brush. That way you can use the eraser to just add a bit of distinction between the different pieces of your neon, so if you have a bend like I do, or if you have two different pieces that are overlapping. And the reason we did it on a mask is so that if you don't like it, you can just delete the mask and keep the base shape intact. I liked it though, so I'm going to keep it. And the last thing we can do is add a chord just like we did for the lights, so creating a new layer below the neons, renaming it to chord, picking black again, and still with the monoline or lynx type brush, probably smaller this time. You can draw a chord that connects the different part of your neon, and maybe also either run towards the side or go downwards. Totally up to you. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more Procreate tips and tricks, I highly recommend you check out this playlist because I have a bunch more for you. But before you leave, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the weekly videos I post every Tuesday and Saturday. Then click on the link right here and I'll meet you there.